It's Powerback time on the Gutsy podcast, your 20-minute boost to reclaim and refocus your energy. Get ready to have bursts of clarity, a boost of confidence, and the practical steps you need to make gutsy moves forward. You've got big things to do, so let's get your power back. Welcome to this week's Powerback episode. I gotta tell you, I am freaking excited to be back behind this mic, okay? Taking the long break has been phenomenal. It allowed me to do a lot of things, and I'm going to do some episodes on that, don't worry. But if there's anywhere that I just absolutely love, it's being behind this mic sharing wisdom with you. Just in case you happen to be new here, first, welcome. I'm so freaking pumped that you're here. But two, Powerback episodes are like mini episodes that's going to pour into your brain and give you actionable ways to move forward. So we get really hyper-focused on one subject or one topic, and then I always make sure that you walk away with ways that you can implement it today. For today's focus, I'm going to teach you how to make gutsy moves. Now listen, you're not new to making gutsy moves, okay? You've made so many shifts, pivots, little changes, huge changes in your life and in your career, so you've already done this. But over the years, I've really integrated and studied what gutsy really means. What does it actually take to be able to make a movement forward, specifically towards the thing that you want? I've not only lived and breathed it myself, but this is also what I teach all of my clients in my workshops, inside the Gutsy Collective, and now also in my keynote, which is called Gutsy Moves. So today I'm going to walk you through that formula. I want you to be able to have things under your belt so you know how to support yourself moving forward so that you can start to have the fulfillment in whatever area of your life that you're, kind of scratching at and ready to change. Okay, the very first thing that I want to point out, and I've said this a few times, but I want to call it forward very intentionally. And it's about taking steps towards the thing that you want instead of away from it. Listen, you can do things all day long, right? Checking boxes, hustling around, running errands, keeping yourself busy. But if there isn't a shining light, a North Star, a focus, a direction, you're going to continue to do a bunch of shit and feel unfulfilled. Now, if you're ready to make a gutsy move, it's usually because you're ready to make a change. It's rarely because you're doing the same shit that you've been doing or staying in the same routine. You're not usually making a gutsy move when you decide to go to the grocery store to get the ingredients that you need to come home and make dinner. Unless, of course, there's something like social anxiety or another underlying reason where that is a fear. And then absolutely, it could be a gutsy move to face that and go to the store. But even there, you're ready to make a change. Something is ready to shift inside of you. And you have to make the decision on how you're going to move forward. So let's break it down. Let me show you how to move forward. Again, this is what I have studied. This is what I live. These are things that I've done myself. This is what I teach my coaching clients. This is what I teach in my keynote. And if you're in a safe place to do so, a pen and paper is always going to be handy. All right. Very first thing, first, foremost, and always is clarity. Knowing what it is that you want. Now, look, I realize this is a big question, and it's actually the number one question that stumps people when I ask them, what do you actually want? And I put the word actually in there very intentionally because you're a good human. When I ask you, what do you want? Chances are you're going to say, I want, my house to be healthy. I want my kids to be happy. I want my spouse to enjoy their job. I want my parents to live a long life. You immediately go externally, and there's nothing wrong with that. You can absolutely want those things and want something for yourself. So when I ask you, what do you actually want? What is it that you are craving, that you want for you? And listen, I know it's a big ass question. Again, it's the thing that stumps people the most because the question is, or the answer is usually, I have no idea. No one's ever asked me this before. I've never had the time to sit and think about it. And so you just keep doing, you keep checking, you keep hustling, and you keep lacking that fulfillment that you're looking for. And besides not having the time or putting intention or focus into really feeling into this, a lot of the times people avoid this question because of what has to happen next. How will my decision affect other people? How am I going to do this? I don't know what I'm doing. I'm too old. I'm too young. And that's where we really have to pause for a second. So I'm going to walk you through a really quick exercise that I teach my coaching clients. So for just a moment, I would like for you to sit all of your current roles and responsibilities off to the side. All the wonderful people in your world, your job, your to-do list, all the things that are kind of lingering, waiting for you to do things. We're going to take everything that's important or maybe not so important, and we're just going to shift them all to the side for a second. You're not getting rid of anything. You're not changing anything. We're just playing here for a second. Now, in this moment, you have all the answers that you need. You have access to every piece of information that you need. You know how to handle it. And best of all, your decision affects no one. In this space, right here, right now with me, what would you do differently? What do you actually want? And if you need to pause this for a second and really feel into that, I encourage you to do that. Because whatever came up for you is exactly what you needed to hear. And it doesn't mean that you have to stop everything. You don't have to jump to the finish line. You don't have to have it all figured out, right? We haven't pulled everything back over yet. Right now, we're just getting clarity. Clarity is direction. And when you have direction, you can start to move towards that instead of away from it. Now, if the thing didn't come in clearly, focus on the feeling that you're craving, the feeling that you're missing, the feeling that you want more of in your life. For me, the feeling that I was lacking for so long was ease, white space, simplicity. I jam-packed my shit to avoid that. And resistance, that's a whole different episode. But when you get really clear of maybe that's your feeling too, or maybe a different feeling came to you. Okay, the feeling that I'm wanting is ease. Now when you go to make decisions, is this adding ease to my life or is it taking it away? Again, your clarity is direction. It allows you to move towards what you want instead of away from it. The second piece is a natural next piece, and that's when the mindfuckery pops in. Okay, this is the overthinking, the overplanning, the overworrying, needing to perfect everything. Who am I to do this? Again, that the age is not right, or the time's not right, or someone else is doing this better than me, and I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, I could write an encyclopedia on how many things we say to ourselves when we're trying to make a movement. And if you don't catch it, it will stop you every single time. I mean, how many times have you had a thought or an idea and you got really stinking excited about it, and then all of a sudden your brain kicked in and you were like, nope, just kidding, not going to do it. That's because the mind junk took over, right? All those thoughts and feelings and worries and expectations ran to the front of the line. And so the thing that we've got to do here is interrupt those thoughts, catching them when they come in. They're either going to be noisy loudness in your head and or a feeling in your body. Listen, we run on autopilot. You get used to bantering and arguing with yourself, and you physically get used to feeling like shit. Well, guess what, my friend? Getting that thing that you want, those things can't come along. And I'm not saying you're never going to have mind junk. I'm talking about learning how to interrupt it when it shows up. I like to call it a good old-fashioned catch and shift. Catching it in the moment, noticing, breaking the cycle of autopilot. So I want you to start noticing, what are you saying to yourself and how are you feeling in your body? Where are you feeling it in your body? This simple act is going to bring you back into your conscious mind, which is where you're able to make changes. Because when all that autopilot crap is going on, you're not conscious. Okay, that's your subconscious mind running the show. And while the subconscious has a lot of great attributes and a lot of great characteristics, it's also the reason why you don't move forward with things. So this might look as simple as, okay, I can feel my brain going way too fast again. I've got 30 different things happening on my desk right now. I'm feeling that tightness in my chest. This is not ease. This is not flow. So what do I need to do instead? For me in that moment is to get up, take a break, get outside, dance around for a hot second. That's what I talk about shifting it. We've got to redirect that thought and that feeling into something that's more productive for you. And that could be movement. It could be affirmations. It could be music. writing, I mean, you get to make it whatever it is, but this is a choice. If you want to break a cycle, man, I could talk about this shit for days. If you want to break a cycle, this is what you have to start doing. And while it's going to feel like work in the beginning, okay, because this is a new habit that you're creating, just because it's uncomfortable doesn't mean it's wrong. It just means it's new. But the really cool thing is when you stick with this enough, it is less and less and less hard to do this as you go. In fact, you can get to the point where like you're pretty fucking good at it and you can catch and shift things in a couple of seconds. That's the place where I've gotten to with a lot of things in my life. Not all of them, but a lot of them. So stick with it. It gets easier, I promise. The third thing to make gutsy moves, to get fulfillment in your life, is to start trusting yourself. I know, you've heard that before. You've wanted to before. How do I, and what do I know is true? And how do I know I'm not bullshitting things? And listen, we are all intuitive human beings. Some are just more tapped in than others, but you have an inner knowing. You have nudges, you get ideas, you get drop-ins, you get direction where you get pulled into something. This is your intuition speaking to you. And this could be God, this could be the universe, this could be bunnies in the backyard. I mean, you get to make it whatever it is. Wherever the source is coming from is irrelevant. The point here is that you learn what yours looks and feels like. Now, I often get asked, how do I know if this is real or if I'm making shit up? And valid question. And the truth and reality is your intuition, your inner knowing will never, ever be chaotic. It's not loud and noisy and hustling and bustling and making you feel all kinds of ways. It's often this very soft, kind of quickly passing thought that has a stillness to it that is indescribable. So much that we tend to push it off because like, oh, that doesn't have any bells and whistles to it, so there must not be anything in there. Your intuition will always be steady, solid, often very quiet. And it's your job to start to listen to that. And the only way to strengthen your intuition, to really get to know it, is to start practicing and playing with it. And you're doing this even when it doesn't super make sense. And surely it wouldn't make sense to other people, unless it's to a few close people in your world. These are often the things that are indescribable, but you're like, man, there's just something in this. I just know. If you get that kind of feeling, that is your intuition's way of saying, all systems go. I need you to listen to me now. So there's a little exercise, again, that I like to teach, and that's called bricks or butterflies. And this is an introductory way to start to get to know what your intuition feels like, because you can feel this all over the place. You might hear or see or feel it in your head. You might, have it in your gut. You might have it in your right hip. Your little toe on your foot might tingle. I mean, everyone's is so different, so it's hard to pinpoint exactly what it is and what it feels like. But what I found, and that can be really relatable regardless of where you feel it, is this sense of bricks or butterflies. So bricks are your intuitive nose. This tends to be a heavier, sinking feeling, a lot of times in the lower region of your body. It's that deep feeling where you're like, there's something not quite right. I'm not sure about this person. I don't think this job's for me, right? It's just this like, I don't know. There's something not cool about this. And again, it could have no logical reason behind it. You might meet someone or come across a client or meet somebody at a restaurant and you're just feeling off, like something's not right. Listen, you don't have to have logic when your gut is telling you something that strong and that clearly. Whereas intuitive yeses often feel like butterflies. This tends to be in the upper region of your body. Flutters, tingles, excitement, almost like you're on a roller coaster. You're really excited. You want to throw your hands up and you kind of feel like you could puke all at the same time. Yeah, that's your intuitive's way of saying, yes, let's do this. There are gutsy moves behind this even. Because again, there's often little reason. There's often little like concrete things. So if you're a very analytical type of person, trusting your intuition can feel really abstract. Yeses can often be disguised as fear because you get kind of jittery, right? Like when you're about to do something new or big or unknown or scary, but like you just know in your soul that there's something in this for you. You can get nervous. But again, notice, is that nervous like a roller coaster, or is that nervous like I'm going to put my hand on a hot stove and I feel resistance and want to pull it away? Whichever your intuition is telling you, trust it, because it's always, always, always guiding you into your best interest. The fourth step is the resounding underlying description of what Gutsy is, and that's taking action, movement. I like to look at it as taking messy action. One next step towards the thing that you want. Listen, I know you get real wound up and caught up in your head about all the things that you need to do. I need to have it figured out. I need to have the plan. I need to have the timeline. I need to know what I'm wearing that day. I mean, you want to go into the depths of the details. And I'll ask you, how's that working out for you? Now, don't discount a good plan, right? There's always a good time and a place for a plan. But as you're getting started, as you're moving closer, as you're taking steps forward, you can't have everything figured out. Because otherwise, if you wait until you do, you're going to keep thinking about it. That desire that you want is going to stay an idea. Messy action is not that you're out here doing things recklessly, right? You're not just like throwing shit into the wind and hope that it sticks. It just means that you're allowing yourself to do one next thing without having it all figured out. So for instance, let's say you are wanting to open a business next year. Well, you're thinking about your website and your colors and how many products you're going to have and where you're going to sell things and how many reels are you going to make a week, when really all you need to focus on right now is solidifying the name and getting it registered. You're out here trying to solve the world's problems with your business when really the next thing that you need to do is the next thing that allows you to build the business. If you're wanting to change your career, you're worried about how are you going to get there and how long is it going to take you to commute, and are you going to have to get a new babysitter, and do you have enough skills and all this, when really your one next step is to update your resume. See what I'm saying? We overcomplicate things. So messy action, this movement, is asking you to focus on the one thing in front of you. Because when you do that, you build momentum. When you build momentum, you get clarity and you get the information that you need to take your one next steps after that. This is often a spot where people get really stuck. Taking the action and the mind junk are the two areas that people get stuck the most. And if you find that those are your sticky areas as well, inside the Gutsy Collective, women are doing these things every single day. If you're not familiar with the Gutsy Collective, this is my community for women. Look, these are hungry, driven women. They want to make changes in their life, but they get in their own way. They get so far, and then this invisible barrier seems to stop them. Until now. In the collective, I am fueling your mind with how-to information like this. If you like the Powerback style, this is how I teach you, but even more in depth inside the collective. There's a community space so you can ask questions, those things that you get stumped on that you're like, oh my gosh, if I only had somebody to talk to. Inside the collective, you do. And then once a month we go live. I do a live 90-minute Q&A, which is like a group coaching session essentially. So you can get very specific answers tailored to whatever it is that you're working on. So if you're ready to get past your own invisible barrier, go to lauraora.com/Gutsy Collective. There's also a link in the show notes, and join for free. The first 2 weeks are free. I want you to come in and get a taste and see how quickly and easily you can start to make changes in your life. Now, last but absolutely not least is the Gutsy to keep going. This is a space that doesn't get talked about a lot. It's that space between you're no longer where you were, but you're not yet where you want to be. I like to call it the hallway. The hallway is kind of this mysterious place where there might be some people, you might be alone. There might be some side doors along the way that you go into. You go on a little side quest where maybe you make a mistake. Maybe you get some information. Maybe you meet a guide or someone that helps you along your path. And then you come back into the hallway and you continue down the path. And the reason I bring this up is because this is a space where it often gets lonely, where the mind chunk wants to creep back in, where you have this expectation that you should be further along or you should already know these things by now. And it's stuff like this that often is the make or break why people continue moving forward or why they let it go. This is the space where it is absolutely key to stay focused and motivated. So I ask you, what do you need in this type of space? I'm certain that you've been here before. What would be helpful? Do you need to be around other people? Again, that's why things like the Gutsy Collective are so fucking successful, because you're doing it around other people. There's accountability built in there. You have people that you can ask questions to or lean on and say, my gosh, I'm having a real shit day and I could just use a little boost. Maybe it's something in your immediate world. Do you need to shift around your desk? Do you need to get away some clutter? Do you need to change your atmosphere every once in a while? Maybe incorporating a walk-in once a day. When you become your own best advocate, the one that believes in you, the one that says, you know what, this is messy. I don't know when we're going to get this done, but you know what? I know what I want, and I'm willing to do what it takes to get there, even if that takes a little bit more time. This is a gutsy move, friend. This is how you make change, fulfilling change. This is how you achieve your goals. This is how you succeed in life, in your career, in your family, your health. And look, I know I can't solve your world's problems in a 22-minute episode, but I most certainly can give you the tools that I know are absolutely fucking proven to work. Making gutsy moves, whether it's the smallest shift that adjusts something in your life or the big shit that you have to face and handle and move forward with. When you get clear about what you actually want, shift the mind junk that typically stops you from going for it. Trust in yourself and your ability to figure it out. Take that messy action towards it and keep going even when shit gets hard. My friend, you will achieve more things than you ever thought was possible. Your desire is what drives you, but gutsy is what gets it done. I'll leave you with this today. I could not shout it from the rooftops more, and I'm not just saying this because it's my community. I'm saying it because I'm watching women change their life every single day in front of my eyes. Women that thought that they couldn't do it, or they didn't have anyone to support them, or there was nobody else in their world like them. They joined the Gutsy Collective, and all of that is changing. So how would it feel for you to be the next success story of the Gutsy Collective? My friend, this is your call forward. Go to lauraora.com/Gutsy Collective, or just scroll down and click on the link in the show notes and start your transformation journey for free. Damn, it's good to be back. I got more fire in my soul than ever, my friend. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming back after this relaunch has happened. There's so much great stuff in store for you. And I'd love to connect with you. I answer all my messages. So connect with me on Facebook, TikTok, or Instagram. I am @thatlauraora. And as always, until I see you next time, stay gutsy.